Hi guys, in the last episode I covered some of the original ideas as to who and what the space jockey was before we got the prequels, or any of the sequels for that matter. In that video we learned that the space jockey has definitely had some changes throughout its life in this franchise. While doing the research for that video, I also found that the Alien Xenomorph has gone through many changes as well. Today we're going to take a look at the alien creature to see what they were like in the early ideas and how we ended up with the alien as we know him from the 1979 Alien movie. As mentioned in the Space Jockey video, Dan O'Bannon is the original writer and creator of Alien. He wrote the story along with Ronald Shusett, and there were other rewrites done by studio producers as well. When looking back at some of the early concepts for the alien creature, the first thing that stands out is the early concept art of how the alien was going to look. Dan had done some sketches as to how he thought the alien should look, but it was conceptual artist Ron Cobb who took Dan's sketches and created this first concept look of the alien. Luckily for us, even Dan O'Bannon knew that they needed to keep looking in order to find a better look for the alien. This was no slight to Ron Cobb at all. Ron was more at home doing more realistic art, as he was the one who came up with the designs for much of the human technology in the movie, including the Nostromo along with Chris Foss. It wasn't until Dan came across Giger's Necronomicon book that he knew this would be the man to create the alien for the movie. When Ridley Scott saw Necronom 4, he knew instantly that this was to be the design for the alien. Ridley was quoted as saying that the print looked aggressive and sexual, while at the same time it was a thing of beauty. 20th Century Fox, however, was worried that Giger's designs may be too disturbing for the general audience, but thankfully they allowed his work on the film to continue. HR even offered to redesign the alien from scratch, but due to time constraints, they stuck with the Necronom 4 image. Giger had envisioned that the alien was to be a humanoid, but that it was wearing an armor for protection. He also made sure that the creature was intertwined with sexuality in order to put the audience on edge. He was known for his biomechanical artwork that was full of sexual innuendo, and he made sure that this look was present in everything he worked on in the Alien movie. This ended up working amazingly well and matched perfectly with the end product of the Xenomorph. When we look at the Necronom 4 image, we notice that the alien here has eyes. Giger ended up removing the eyes and instead had a human skull inset into the face of the alien, yet it was lacking actual eyes, so you could see the holes in the skull where they should be. I personally love this look and wish that the human skull inset into the alien's face was present on the creatures in all of the later movies as well. Even though the design of the alien changed drastically between Dan O'Bannon and Ron Cobb's vision of the alien to the eventual designs from H.R. Giger, it wasn't the look of the alien that was the only drastic change to happen. One of the biggest changes to the alien creature from the early ideas was how they acted. In Dan O'Bannon's mind, the alien was still a parasite-type creature, with the same life cycle that it has now, except that the alien was a sentient and civilized race. With the original aliens, when they were born as a chestburster from their host, they had an intense bloodlust and would attack anything on sight. What the alien needed was an adult alien to take care of it until it grew up. He said that once the aliens grew into their adult form, they were no longer the hellish attacking creatures, but that they grew into the sentient and civilized race that he described earlier. In the earlier scripts, the eggs were not in the derelict. They were in a pyramid that was on the planet next to the derelict craft. The pyramids were created to be a place of ritual and were responsible for birthing new aliens. It was said at some point, a cataclysm causes the extermination of the adults in this unique race, leaving no one to attend and nurture the young. But in a dark lower chamber of the breeding temple, a large number of eggs lay dormant, waiting to sense something warm. And now, enter the space jockey. So from this, we are to believe that the aliens were on LV-426 before the space jockey arrived on the planet. This completely changes the direction in which the prequels went, in which David and/or the engineers were responsible for the creation of the aliens. At one point, the producers wanted to add that the alien was not an alien at all and that it was a bioweapons experiment created by humans. We've often heard throughout the franchise that the aliens were created as a bioweapons experiment, and this must be where that rumor first started. Luckily for us, these changes didn't stick. We always hear about changes that were made to movies before they actually hit the screen, and how many times some of the old original ideas were better than what we eventually got. In the case of the aliens and how they acted as adults, I have to say that this is one time that I'm really glad that the changes were made. I'd rather see the space jockey or the engineers be the intelligent aliens, while the xenomorphs stay what they are as a somewhat mindless killer. So what do you guys think? There are many changes to the alien xenomorphs before we got to the alien that we know and love today. Some of the changes were for the better, and some of the changes were from the worse, but in the end, I think we got a great version of the xenomorph. Let me know any questions or comments that you guys have down below, and I want to thank everyone for watching the video. If you liked the video, if you could leave a like, it helps out the channel so much, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, why not subscribe for all the future aliens goodness to come. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I hope to see you next time.